Hi, so I'm joined on day 3 of the Infosecurity Europe show with Sarb Sembhi, a past president of the ISACA London chapter and the current ISACA chair of European GRA subcommittee. So Sarb, we're on our final day of Infosecurity Europe. How have you found the show so far this year?
It's always good fun to come along to the show, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's not been before or who hasn't been for a while. I think what you've got to remember about the show is that apart from coming along, looking at what's new, what's going on, it's a great chance to catch up with industry leaders, other colleagues that you may not have seen for a while, because it does draw anyone and everyone in the security industry, so it's always good fun.
And have you noticed any changes from this year to previous years?
That's an interesting question. This year I've been given an example as to what I think is different, but in terms of past years, there were often times where we've had in the past year off the email security, year off encryption, year off antivirus, and I think the last time we had one of those year off was the UTM, and that was a few years ago. And since then there hasn't been any single year of this or that. So that's changed quite a lot. And it seems like there's lots going on, lots taking place, but more of it seems to be improving what we already had. And there's nothing new necessarily.
So do you think have we got an innovation problem in the industry?
Oh no, I don't think there's an innovation problem. I think the thing is, if we look at the types of problems we come up against that we have to solve in the industry are now not quite solved, but they're quite defined. And what we're doing now is we're tweaking them, we're improving them, and we will be for many years to come. We haven't solved them by any means.
So perhaps you could give us an update on what ISACA is up to at the moment and any objectives you've got for 2012.
Yeah, there's lots going on in ISACA at the moment. One of the most important things is the latest version of COBIT, which I believe that you have already spoken to my colleagues about. But some of the things that I've been working on, in particular, for example, being the chair of the Region 3 GRA subcommittee, has been looking at the regulations and the legislation around Europe that will impact security people. And the most important one this year has been the regulation around data protection and the data protection directive as well. The regulation itself is quite far-reaching. There are a lot of proposals within that document which will impact security, privacy, in a major way. So there's been a lot of work done around that, and I've written several articles about what organisations can do, and one of them in your magazine.
So for those people that haven't seen that article, can you just summarise really briefly what it is that you wrote about? Because it was an opinions-based piece, so if you could summarise that.
Yeah, I basically supported the regulation. I do think that there are some very important key principles within the regulation which will support the privacy of individuals because of the rights it gives individuals. And some of the key rights really are the right to be forgotten, the right to data deletion, data transparency, and the right to move your data. So, for example, if you are on a social networking site and you're a member of that, you're a user, you should have the right to be able to take all your data and take it somewhere else in the same way perhaps that you can at the moment with email. So those are the sorts of things that the regulation covers, and it's interesting that why it came about or how it came about, because what we're recognising here at this show in many respects is the fact that every day we are increasing our own usage of data and we are creating more data about ourselves than ever before. And what the regulation looks at is try and give us a bit more control in doing that, but at the same time balancing that in a way which won't inhibit e-commerce generally.
Is it realistic though? Because Raj Shamani spoke about a similar thing in his Hall of Fame induction the other day, and about how with all the use we have of social media, how realistic is it that we can start to control our own data?
It's very unrealistic in this day and age right now today, but I think the thing is, if we want to get serious about it, we need to get serious about it, and that's the key message I think of the regulation itself. That there has to come a point where you say, well, enough is enough. A lot of the big corporations who've built their whole business models entirely on data that you and I might use if we use any of these social networking sites. And yet, when we want to control that data, they're not giving us control, but their business model's built on it, and those companies are worth far more than any other company that you and I may have used for all our lives.
And finally, we've been talking quite a lot at the show about a skills gap in the industry, and that we've got quite a lot of IT professionals graduating, but none that have the right security-specific skills. What can we do about that?
There are a couple of initiatives that are out there at the moment. And the security challenge is one of them. And I think it has been understood, the problem has been understood by many organisations in the field, and they are attempting to deal with this. But the cause of it effectively is people like myself and other people you've probably interviewed in the last few days who started off technical and got up to strategic. I like to pretend I'm still technical. I know I'm not, but many of us do. We like the technical. That's where we came from. That's our background. And we've left spaces, and there's a greater need for those technical skills today than there were before. And it's because the numbers haven't increased, we've got this shortage, and we're just not able to attract them because we came in from many, many other fields, and we're not getting that same influx. ISACA, for example, do try and make sure that what they're promoting to try and fill that gap is that people see that there is a career in this. There are some certifications that can help you fulfill a career. It's not something that you start doing sort of half day a week as part of your main role that you've got that you might end up doing to fill the gap. It is something that you can look seriously at when you're a lot younger and actually build it up as a career.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today, Sarb. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Great to meet you again.